Good morning, good morning, good morning, my friends. Happy Tuesday. I woke up and had myself half convinced it was Wednesday. No such luck. I kind of enjoy hump day because, it's like, well, if you make it through Monday, you're doing good. Good morning, Izzy. Hello, cool gamer. Chloe's in. Hello, cat. Misty Doo, good morning. I like to say Izzy's in the hizzy. Hello, DT driver. Hi, Angie. Big T made it in. I've been chatting with a lot of people. Jules is in. As what I like to call now our pre-party. Our pre-party. People start coming in sometimes like at 6:30 in the morning and we're chatting back and forth as I'm getting the show together. Hello, Joy. Hey, Peach State Mama. So, how did your Monday night go? Mine was a little frustrating, but we'll talk about that later. But we do have some new names in here. I hope you guys are protecting yourself from the heat because it's going to be a scorcher again. My gosh. Whoo. Let's take a second and welcome our new friends. Good morning, good morning. I just love how everybody tells, they greet each other. How are you doing? Haven't seen you in here in a while, stuff like that. Like how normal people act. You know what I mean? People that know how to use forks and spoons and they know the right way to wipe, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, but today we are here to talk about Harmony Montgomery. Now, it's not going to be so much today about teardrop, but more about step myth. Because while I believe that law enforcement has done an impeccable job with Harmony's case, because let's face it, they were 2 years behind. Not their fault. Nobody happened to mention to them that Harmony was missing. Well, it turned out to be way more than missing because it is grim, it is dark, it is depraved. It's something that only the devil and another channel would enjoy. That's all I'm going to say about that. But for a lot of people, a lot of us, step meth's plea deal just doesn't sit right. Now, we saw during the weapons trial, proffer agreements were handed out like bubblegum on Halloween. It seems like everyone involved was getting some sort of immunity. Well, that's what happens when you're dealing with criminals. To get them to talk, you have to make them a deal or they're not going to say a damn thing. You can squeeze them all you want, but they're just not going to. Take, for instance, OJ. Come on now. Move. For those of you that are new here, OJ is my cat. And he likes to try to help co-produce the show. Speaking of cats, thank you for the super sticker. She says it's so refreshing to know that everyone here knows not to run with scissors. Exactly. True Crime Beat said OJ be good. Well, good luck with that. If that worked, my life would be gravy. So, as we know, Kayla, stepmeth, went to jail for welfare fraud. Now, as she's sitting in the clink, knowing there's a huge reward, they still couldn't get her to talk. So they start piling on other charges, which she did all on her own. Perjury. She helped with the weapons. Finally, after she got her ass whipped by the U.S. Marshals, she decides she's going to, all right, we're not doing this today. Nope, we're not doing this today. Stop. Walking Dead said, OJ, don't unplug the internet. He is full of piss and vinegar today. Well, let me tell you. So, basically, after she got her ass beat by the U.S. Marshals and they put a gun to that one dude's head, just lay down. Just lay down. Things seem to shake loose a little bit. Let's go through Teardrop's charges. Second-degree murder for recklessly causing the death of Harmony Montgomery, a person under 13 years of age, under circumstances manifesting an extreme, and it's extreme, indifference to the value of human life by repeatedly striking Harmony in the head with a closed fist in Manchester on or about December 7th, 2019. Falsifying physical evidence for purposely altering, destroying, concealing, or removing the body of Harmony with a purpose to impair its verity or availability in the official proceeding or investigation in Manchester between December 7th, 2019 and March 4th, 2020. Abuse of a corpse. And we're going to get a little in depth with that today because what he did to Harmony and then later to her poor little body, again, is something that even the writers for the movie Saw couldn't have come up with this one, okay? Destroying the corpse of Harmony or any part thereof in Manchester between approximately December 7th, 2019 and March 4th, 2020. Now we get to step meth. This is not a charge. This is a charge against Teardrop. Tampering with witnesses or informants for purposely attempting to induce or otherwise cause step meth to testify or inform falsely in Manchester between approximately December 7th, 2019 and January 4th, 2022. Because as we know, she lied to the grand jury. Yes, she did. Let's bring up our friend Susan, who has followed this case closer than anyone I know. Let's do a warm round of applause for our friend Susan. Good morning, my friend. How is your blood pressure? You know, I always have to ask you that before we do this show.
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Doing good. You're getting quite the round of applause in here. Look at all those claps going up. Well,
I can't see the chat, but thank you very much, everyone.
Well, let's go through the comments, a few of them from the last show, and then we're going to get to it. We're going to start with the plea agreement and then go backward to the welfare fraud, when step meth was released on perjury. You know the drill. Let's get to it. Sarah says step meth needs to be charged for failure to report. She had so many opportunities to help Harmony and chose just to watch the abuse. Oh, for real. How soulless a person must be not to only ignore a child being harmed, but be willing to engage in sexual acts with the abuser under that poor child's lifeless body. Now then, not to paint too grim of a picture, but this is the truth. when they
Yes.
had her corpse hidden in the ceiling of that homeless shelter, they were knocking boots on the bed and he got her pregnant again.
That's disgusting. That is sickening. The depravity of people, I just don't get it.
How horny could you be to get it on with a dead child in the ceiling above you?
No, it's gross. I have no words. Ugh. These people.
T. Harrison said Teardrop was supposed to pay the mortgage and spent the money on drugs. It wasn't the grandmother's fault. You moved into her home and didn't pay a dime except for to your drug dealer. Teardrop takes no responsibility for what he has done. He's a monster who took advantage of everybody so he could get his drugs. I hope he has nightmares for the rest of his life for what he's done to Harmony. Now, if that's not a mouthful, because to him,
Great comment.
Absolutely. You call them grifters, right?
Oh, yeah. I can't stand a grifter.
So all he was supposed to do was pay the mortgage while Grandma was moving down to Florida. Uncle Kevin was supposed to pay the utilities, but they decide to get into it. And they're like, we're not paying anything. So next thing you know, all their shit's shut off. And he's sitting there with his thumb up his ass trying to figure out who's going to pay the bills. So what does he do? He pimps out Kayla to the Dunkin' Donuts.
And runs an extension cord to the refrigerator. Ugh.
Yeah. Sharitas says, I think step-meth should also be charged for Harmony's death. She was also in the car when he beat her to death, then didn't report her death. No plea bargains. And whoever involved, I'm talking about CPS, judges, etc., should be charged by giving him his daughter back. Sorry to say, being on drugs doesn't make someone murder their child. He is just evil.
Yep. I couldn't agree more.
And I think we can all agree with that. She sat right there in the front seat as he punched her repeatedly and looked at her and said, I did something this time.
And then proceeded to go get breakfast.
Yeah. Went to the Burger King and got a Chris sandwich, chomped it down, then got back in the car. How do you digest food knowing you just witnessed the murder of a child?
How do you put it in your mouth? I would be gagging and throwing up, and I would be out of there calling for help.
I would have run into that Burger King and I'd been screaming, murder, murder, murder. What'd she do? She wanted hash rounds with her breakfast sandwich.
Yep. Oh, by the way, lady in the window, call 911. That's all she had to do.
And I have to agree with the commenter. This isn't about drugs. People love to put something off on, oh, it's just the drugs. We know that, when you're loose as a goose, you're going to act a little different. You're going to act a little different, but it doesn't make you kill children.
No, it doesn't.
Of course, we heard when he was sentenced for the weapons trial that he didn't kill Harmony. He loves her, and he can't wait to get to trial. And there's the prosecution going, we can't wait either.
No, I'm not saying it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, girl.
I just can't take him.
I can tell Susan's gonna be salty today, my friends.
It's too early in the show for that. Oh, man.
Anique says, oh my wow, so sick. It is
Depraved.
depraved. All right, let's start with her plea deal, and then we're going to explain, I'm not, what a proffer agreement, or some people call it queen for a day, really means. If somebody signs one, it means they have something on them that can put them away for a long time. That's all
Yes,
there is
ma'am.
to it.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
all there is to it. Tiffany says, Brooks, hell yeah, he had hash browns too, sick ass. Yeah, he did. And a Sprite.
Kayla Montgomery walked into court in Prison Orange, her hands shackled, to strike a deal to testify against estranged husband Adam Montgomery. He's accused of killing his 5-year-old daughter Harmony. Kayla had been interviewed by Manchester police back in December of 2021, just days after the investigation into the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery.
And when she was interviewed in December of 2021, our first show was in January of 2022. She had every opportunity to tell him then.
Yep. There would have been something left over for the cause of death.
Mm-hmm. But she decided to not cooperate, take the road. I don't know if it's less traveled or not. And they just started putting charges on her because they knew she knew more. We talked about that from the beginning. We said, why is she sitting in jail? It's because she's holding out. She knows something, or she did it. We know now she didn't.
Oh, she knew. And I think she was part of it. I honestly do. There's no way you can convince me otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Bonafide said, why a plea deal? Why not charge both to get her to talk? They don't have Harmony's body. And without her testimony, they couldn't do anything with Teardrop. It's a sad day in America when this has to happen. It really is. So even though she should spend life in prison, she's going to get 1.5 years. How's your blood pressure, Susan?
Oh, yeah. Going up, going up. Deep breaths.
Mm-hmm. Began. She was subpoenaed to testify before a grand jury in May to repeat what she'd said about seeing Harmony for the last time in November of 2019.
While under oath, the defendant testified initially that a day or two after Thanksgiving of 2019, Adam dropped her, the defendant, off at work, and Harmony and the other 2 children were in the car. The defendant testified that at that time, Adam said he was bringing Harmony to Harmony's mother.
Caught in 2 lies, not about her estranged husband or Harmony, but about the time and place she said she was working.
Kayla Montgomery testified falsely regarding the time of the prior work shift. How do you plead to that? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
The 2 felonies carry a sentence of 3.5 to 7 years each. She'll be eligible for parole in a year and a half.
Obviously, she would have liked to not to have to do any jail time, but she recognized the situation she was in. She recognized the state's perspective, and she struck what she thought was a fair deal for herself.
For herself.
So as soon as the trial's over, she'll be walking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mother.
Mm-hmm. What happens when they get her up on the stand in November and she doesn't give them what they want? Because they have a sworn affidavit in the probable cause from her doesn't mean, because, she's getting cold feet now. She's not really sure she wants to do that because in her mind, from what people are saying, she feels like the weapons charges are enough. She should be done and over. No.
Not in bylaw.
Harmony.
Yeah. If she doesn't testify the way they want, they can bring more charges, can't they?
That's gonna be a problem. I don't know how the proffer is worded, but I have a feeling that they were real specific. Because let's look at her get out of jail free card, shall we? Okay, the perjury, 3 to 7 years. Yeah, okay. The welfare fraud, she served on that. She was part of the weapons deal. The failure to report Harmony's murder is a biggie.
How many years was that?
I've read anywhere from 15 to 20, but I don't know.
I don't hardly see her taking the charge.
You sound muffled.
No, I'm sorry.
You're
I
okay.
said I'm having a problem with this Wi-Fi. I don't see her taking the charge. She's too selfish. I think she'll testify.
I think so too, and I think her attorney worded it perfectly. The best deal for herself, not for Harmony, not
Yeah.
for children who she should never be around again. They say that when she gets out, she's requested witness protection.
Oh, she does she?
Yeah.
That's rich. That's rich.
That's rich.
She needs protection, but she sure as hell didn't protect Harmony.
Exactly.
That's rich.
And I will say this about step meth. She's the only person that I've seen, well, next to Brian Kohlberger, or who we call Bushy, who went into jail and looks a lot better from being in the pokey. That's her original mugshot. Take a drink of that wiry hair.
Ugh.
Look at that.
Eyes all swollen. Ugh.
Then here's the new Kayla. Here's the new step meth.
She definitely looks better.
She definitely looks a lot better. Definitely. So let's go through what a proffer agreement really is.
I'm ready.
Because it's really confusing. Some people say it's immunity. It's really not so much immunity. It's kind of open-ended. If you don't do what we need you to do, we're going to hang you up.
So it's basically a plea agreement?
It basically is, but they call it like a queen for a day. See, like a plea agreement means you're going to plead to lesser charges, but she pled guilty on the perjury. What she agreed to is they're not going to charge her for other things if she testifies against him.
Okay.
Letter before you cooperate with the government. I'm sure you've heard of a proffer letter or a queen for a day. So this is a letter that the U.S. attorney presents to the defense prior to any kind of a cooperation meeting. This is a standard form letter. It may be written a little bit differently in different districts, but essentially what it says is that your attorney has told us that you wish to meet with us for the purposes of cooperating. It doesn't mean they're going to accept your cooperation. It just says you wanted to meet and talk about maybe what you know. The most important thing about the letter is where it says that you must be completely truthful. If they feel at any point that you are not being truthful, they can end the meeting and they can use your statements against you. They will know everything about your case by the time you're having this meeting. They have cell phone records, they have text messages, they have emails, they have bank accounts, they have spoken with witnesses. They have way more than you think they do. And they, in fact, may even know more about the case than you do. So you have to be completely honest with them. They will ask you questions that they know the answers to just to make sure that you're being honest with them. So that is the number one most important thing. And the U.S. attorney will tell you that at the beginning of the meeting, even though your lawyers hopefully already hammered this into your head. You can't hold back. You have to be completely honest with them. The next thing it says in the letter is that your statements given during this meeting will not be used against you in your case in chief. Well, chances are if you're having a cooperation meeting with the feds, you're not going to trial, so there isn't going to be a case in chief. A case in chief is the government's case against you in trial. So they can't use your statements. If you say at some point, you know what, I'm not going to do this, I want to fight my case, they can use those statements against you at that point. They will tell you, though, that they can use your statement to pursue leads. So if you tell them, I buried the body over there, they can use it to pursue leads. They can go and dig up the body. Now, they can't use your statement against you at trial, but they can use the DNA that they find or match the weapon that they found with the injuries, things like that. They can pursue leads, and they may lead back to you for other crimes that you may have committed. Chances are that's not going to happen. Most of the time, cooperation agreements go smoothly and everything is fine and it doesn't lead to new charges. So the only part of the proffer letter that everybody gets upset about is that no promises are made in the proffer letter. No promises are made during the meeting. No discussions of plea negotiations occur during.
So instead of just giving the bitch immunity, it's open-ended. There's really not a promise. It's we'll make this final if you perform like a circus seal. If you get on that stand and you tell them what you know, then we're going to make all these other things go away. So it's not set in stone yet.
Well, I like that leverage,
I do too.
but I don't think the chief should get off on all the charges. I really don't.
Radio Gaga, hello, honey. She said, I'm glad there is not blanket immunity. Me too.
Yep.
So it's pretty crafty when you think about it. Because she doesn't want to be in jail anymore. She wants to get back out and do her drugs. She wants to go get her groove on somewhere.
I thought she was wanting protection.
The meeting, they will not guarantee, and it is in their sole discretion, the government's sole discretion, if they feel that you have provided substantial assistance in the prosecution of another, not against yourself, but against another, if it has to be information they don't already have. It's not that you're just confirming what they already know. It's new information, or you're really helping them put the puzzle pieces together that they couldn't figure out. That could be considered substantial assistance. So that's what the proffer letter says. It says you've discussed every part of the letter with your attorney, you sign it, your attorney signs it, the U.S. attorney signs it, and then the meeting begins. And you have this conversation that can last hours, depending on the number of questions and how well you are prepared to answer those questions. And there can be multiple meetings, and you can have the U.S. attorney write another letter for each meeting, or have them confirm that that letter will apply to any and all meetings. And then cooperation information is defined as any information that they've obtained during your cooperation. Now, a proffer letter only goes to the statements that you make. If your cooperation involves active cooperation, like wearing a wire or engaging in transactions with somebody who's under investigation, that is not cooperation information because you're not telling them anything. You're doing things, you're acting. So the proffer letter is a very important part because you want to be sure it's called use immunity, that they can't use your statements against you in the prosecution of you in your case. And that is proffer letters.
Well, that was informative.
We learn. We go to school on here every day. And here's the thing. Yes, they were married, but they're divorced now. And even if you're married to someone, if you want your get out of jail free card, it's up to you to testify against them and fill in the pieces she did. Here is one of her statements from the probable cause. Stepmeth said Teardrop was driving the vehicle and Harmony was in the rear seat on the passenger side. And while Teardrop was driving, he turned his body and delivered sets of 3 to 4 blows with a closed fist to Harmony's face on 3 separate occasions over the course of a few minutes. Stepbeth said, after the final blow, Teardrop said, "I think I really hurt her this time. I did something."
I'm sure those were his words, too. I did something.
She said Harmony began moaning, which continued for about 5 minutes before it stopped. No one checked on her or sought medical attention for her, and shortly after noon, Kayla said she and Adam discovered that Harmony was not breathing and had died.
That infuriates me. That infuriates me. Baby back there alone. You know it.
We can't hear you, girlfriend.
I don't know what's wrong with this. I said it infuriates me that she was laying back there and they let her moan. You know she's hurt. You don't seek help. Oh. Oh.
And not only did she know that, she also talked about, and we'll go into this later, she knew that he dismembered Harmony in the bathroom.
Oh. Mm. That poor little baby.
Yep. Makes me so damn mad. All right, so these are photos from inside the home before they got booted out and started living in the car. I wonder where they got the money to eat at the Burger King, Susan.
Yeah, I'm sure the food stamps didn't work there.
Hello, Glenn. There are some cases, well, a lot of cases, where you just sit there and you just shudder and you shake and you say, hell is too good for them.
And this is that case for me.
So here is inside the house. It's very comparable to another case, Don and Candace Wells' home. Look at this filth and disgust. Only thing I can say is at least Don and Candace have utilities.
Missing girl mystery in New Hampshire. We are getting an exclusive look inside the house where 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery lived before she vanished 2 years ago. It comes as criticism heats up for authorities, many questioning how state investigators did not see warning signs of abuse before this little girl disappeared. Correspondent Brian Enton is staying on top of the story live for us from Manchester, New Hampshire. So Brian, tell us, have police made any progress today?
Nicole, unfortunately, still progress, no sign of little Harmony. But for the first time today, we are getting a look inside the house where Harmony once lived.
News Nation obtaining these photos from inside the last known house missing 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery lived in. They show the bedrooms, kitchen, and inside the refrigerator. And you can see extension cords running throughout the house, hooked up to a generator outside because neighbors say the power was cut off. This is the house where police say Harmony's dad, Adam Montgomery, abused the little girl, even causing a black eye.
You're doing extreme punishments to her. She all kinds of stuff.
And this on the screen, this I don't know what you call her, Crystal Sorey. If you haven't been following the case, you're new here, whatever. This would be Harmony's biological mom, who needs to shut the fuck up and sit down. Because she's the first one to fail her.
Absolutely. Every adult failed this child, and she's number one on my list. Mm-hmm.
Then she tells that stupid story about how she couldn't be in 2 places at once. So she couldn't be there for Harmony's court hearing. So she had to go to Jameson's. She had nothing to do with Jameson's adoption. that was going to go through without her blessing or not. She'd already lost rights.
I'm sure she was getting props for doing the right thing over there.
Yeah. What did they have? Did they have free sandwiches for her?
Yeah. Well, you're doing the right thing and you can be in his life. All hail you. I can't take her. But she could have been protecting Harmony.
Yep. She knew exactly where she was. They know all the same people.
Mm-hmm.
She had other stuff to do.
Like the therapist had gotten out of her just by playing dolls in a dollhouse. Imagine. I was horrified. I was like, no. I told DCF, and that was that. Like months later, they hand over custody.
How is it possible she got to stay with him after all of
I
that?
don't understand. I still don't understand to this day.
Harmony's mom says she warned New Hampshire's Division of Children, Youth, and Families about the abuse, but was ignored. They also haven't responded to our emails or calls since last week. So we showed up to their offices today.
Hi, my name is Brian Upton. I'm a reporter with News Nation. We've been trying to get in touch with the department, the director, about the... Is he filming? He is filming, yes.
Okay, turn around, because I don't, this side of it's not public. And I will call somebody for you.
We waited, and a representative from the communications office arrived.
All right, Jake Leon, communications.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Brian. I'm from News Nation.
Yeah, you just called me like an hour ago.
Yeah.
That's cool. You didn't tell me you were on your way.
Well, we've been emailing calling since last week. Is there concern here about the fact that she was missing for 2 years and no one...
I really am not able to get into that because it's due to confidentiality.
The department later sent us a statement saying the department is continually reviewing its processes to ensure the best possible outcomes for children and families. The Division for Children, Youth, and Families has conducted a preliminary internal review on this case, and as is the case whenever a critical incident involving a child occurs, a comprehensive quality assurance review is completed.
I love how they hide behind that anonymity. They can't talk about the case. They can't talk about this and that. And what did that? They did a review thing, and weren't they found lacking severely?
Well, the governor's report that came out of New Hampshire didn't really, it showed that Crystal had lied a lot with all of her allegations on good old fake book. But the main problem was that the judge in Massachusetts ignored the violent history of Teardrops, his drug use, and gave her to Teardrop, and they didn't have an interstate compact to where they could go check on her when she got to New Hampshire.
That judge makes me sick. You have one job. These children are depending on you, and you don't look at the freaking case study.
Yep.
He just wanted to clear his desk so he could retire. Nasty.
What's it going to take for it to be a nationwide database?
I don't know.
And quit this county by county, state by state BS.
There's no money for that. But he sure had money for his damn boat.
Yeah, he was really ready to get on that boat and retire, wasn't he, Susan?
Oh, I just can't with these people. These are children's lives. And they deserve better.
Tiffany said, I'm trying to figure out what she meant that she was helping Jameson with the adoption. What the hell is she talking about? Jameson did not need her help. No, they didn't need her blessing.
She was on that me bus.
Truth be known, she probably didn't even show up.
No, she probably did. She wanted the kudos from the adoptive parents.
The statement went on to say their primary focus is locating Harmony. Crystal's mom hopes that is everyone's focus right now.
Come forward and tell us something, because somebody knows something. It's a fact.
And Harmony's dad remains behind bars on abuse charges. Her stepmother is also locked up on a welfare fraud charge. And we just learned today she will now be facing an additional theft charge and will be back in court on Thursday.
Oh, you damn right. And look at the condition of that house. Little Wing said fake crying is pitiful. That's all they know how to do. Rinse, repeat in all these cases. Rock and Roll has said you should have known something, Crystal. What do you think about that, Susan?
I agree. She should have. Every adult in her life failed her, and it's sickening. Even the grandparents. Who doesn't ask about their grandchildren? I don't understand.
Well, and let's talk about that. She was murdered, allegedly, on December 7th, 2019. It wasn't officially reported until December of 2021.
And they're going to try and blame COVID. Well, you know what? Grandparents send Christmas presents, birthday presents. Pick up the phone and say, hello, honey, I love you.
Yeah. Where's Harmony? Let me talk to Harmony. What's Harmony going to be for Halloween? What did Harmony get for her birthday? Where can I send her presents? Oh, I hear you guys are living in a car. Let me send you some gas money and you guys can come down to Florida and stay with me till you get on your feet. I mean, something like that.
Does Harmony have school clothes? What about shoes? Is she warm? Not one damn call. And it's so gross. Look at her little face. She's adorable.
She's absolutely, it's heartbreaking.
Oh.
So this is when old Teardrop got arrested for abusing Harmony, which was an eyewitness statement from Uncle Kevin, who didn't do a damn thing about it when he saw it. Sorry, but he didn't. There's a lot of money to go along in this case.
The only time he really was up for Harmony was when he was making money, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, when Uncle Kevin had that GoFundMe to help find Harmony, I thought our friend Susan up here was going to need 911. I thought she was going to have an aneurysm, a coronary. She was going to lose it.
It was close. I'm doing some deep breathing there.
Then, to add insult to injury, Stepmeth continued accepting welfare benefits in Harmony's name, knowing that she witnessed her murder.
Exactly. Nasty.
She witnessed her murder, did nothing to get her medical attention. She got her croissant sandwich, her French toast sticks, hash rounds, and a Sprite.
And fed them babies back there with her while she was passing. Nasty. Just thinking about it makes me gag.
Makes me furious.
Montgomery, but the little girl still nowhere to be found after being reported only recently that she's been missing for the last 2 years.
The loss of any little child is tragic. A 7-year-old girl missing for 2 years. She's a daughter. She's a sister. She's out there somewhere.
Kayla Montgomery, the wife of Harmony's biological father, arrested on welfare fraud charges. Prosecutors say she obtained $1,500 in food stamps intended for Harmony after failing to remove the girl from their family account. She's being held on $5,000 bail. Her attorney says that's high for this kind of offense.
It tells me there's suspicions from the state that there may be something else involved. I don't know whether those suspicions are well-founded or not.
Good guess. Good guess, Mr. Attorney, because Susan and I had that figured out in January of 2022. That was one of our first shows. They set her bond high for the welfare fraud. A lot of people for failing to report changes in household. You know, a child goes back to live with their father, goes into juvenile detention. I don't know, you name it. And they don't say anything about the changes in the household. Well, they tell them, pay it back. They don't put them in jail.
Exactly. They wanted her. They wanted her to talk. And I'm still wondering about the stimulus money.
I am really surprised that stimulus money hasn't come out, unless they were saving that as their ace in the hole, besides everything else.
Ooh, that might be it. That might be it.
But he's right. They made a cash bond of $5,000. Now, mind you, they said the reward fund, well, now it's like way over $100,000. They said you could get part of this if you tell us something about Harmony. But she sat there. She sat there.
Yeah.
And like the attorney said, they think she knows more.
Oh, she knows a whole lot. And I don't believe she's telling everything she knows even now.
Nope.
But the request for cash bail is pretty unusual given what she's charged with.
Adam Montgomery had legal custody of Harmony at the time she was last seen. He was also arrested Tuesday. Neither is charged for her disappearance. Adam is charged with second-degree assault, interference with custody, and endangering the welfare of a child. One of those instances, investigators say Adam struck Harmony in the face, causing a black eye in 2019. Kevin Montgomery, Adam's uncle, was visiting the home around that time.
I walked in the house and Harmony had a black eye like you see in a boxing match between two men. He bashed her around the apartment, kind of with his exact words.
According to court documents, Kevin says he and other family members made multiple reports to New Hampshire's Division for Children, Youth, and Families.
And I don't know how they missed the black eye that I saw.
Because you waited too long to call, Kevin, and by the time they got the call and they got to the house, nothing was going on.
Exactly. He should have called a wellness check right then.
Mm-hmm. You know, they love that CPS shit, but they're always afraid to call 911.
Yeah. But they'll call it for themselves. Ugh.
Police say they found Adam sleeping in his car with his new girlfriend on New Year's Eve. He told police he'd given Harmony back to her biological mother around Thanksgiving back in 2019. Her mother, Crystal Sorey, disputes this, according to the court documents. Police say he made some contradictory statements and, quote, did not exhibit much emotion or reaction to the fact that Harmony hadn't been seen in 2 years. A few days after this conversation, police maintain they're still searching for a young girl who is alive.
Right. This is not a recovery. All efforts are focused on that Harmony is alive, and we are going to do everything we can to find her in that condition.
Maura Barrett joins us now. Maura, this story just gets more horrific the more we learn about it. So the fall of 2019, around that time, Adam says he gave Harmony to her mother, is around the last time she was seen and then wasn't reported missing for another 2 years. Do we have any more clarity on that timeline?
So, Tom, according to these new court documents that we were able to review today, her mother said that she didn't get Harmony on that Thanksgiving. In fact, she didn't even see her then. The last time her mother had seen her was on a video call back in April of 2019. She reported this to the Manchester police in November of 2021. So just a few months ago. That lag time in between is still very unclear. And then it was about a month after that that the New Hampshire Department of Children, Youth, and Families said that it, too, was also unable to locate Harmony. Now, we reached out to that department for some more clarity, but again, they said that due to state and federal requirements that they're unable to confirm or deny whether a family has history in their system. And so, Tom, there's still a lot of murkiness in this very tragic story.
An incredibly sad story. Maura Barrett with those new details. Maura, thank you.
I understand that they have to protect the privacy of children, but when it's a crime, they deserve for the public to know.
Well, they're just covering their butts. They don't want people to see that they've messed up and be sued.
What's wrong with people? I know they say, well, because there's bullies at school. We're not worried about the bullies at school. We're worried about the bullies at home. What is wrong with transparency so people know, hey, these people down the street, they've had CPS involved in their lives for 5 years. Here's the reports. This is what they've been doing. I'm not going to let my kids go over there. It should be private.
Exactly. Ugh. That's what's wrong. Everything's behind secrecy. It just infuriates me.
And it's always the same song and dance. It's to protect the privacy of the children. No, because that is not protecting them. That is putting a Band-Aid over a sucking chest wound.
Yeah.
That is hiding the dirty secrets of the home.
Dirty secrets, exactly. And what they're doing to cover it up is, I don't get it. They're supposed to be for the kids.
I agree with Extra AF. She's spitting facts today.
Yes, she is.
She said secrecy in homes, secrecy from the state, enabling abuse. Now, I do understand that people get a lot of bullshit calls on them. I get it. But once something has been founded as abuse, everyone should know.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wouldn't want my kids hanging out over at some place where they're abusing kids. I wouldn't want that. And how am I supposed to know if I don't know?
Exactly. How are we supposed to protect our own children if we don't know the mess that's in someone else's house? You think they're going to tell you? Oh, who's that dude? Oh, that's my caseworker. He's here to make sure that we have food and hot water. What the hell's going on here? Oh, it's because I was driving drunk with the kids a few weeks ago, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm good now. No!
Let's go to the park. Can your kids come? Ugh. The whole system is messed up.
It's disgusting. Disgusting. Night Owl said, especially she's already gone. What privacy does a dead person have? And I agree with Snazzy. A database should be created with addresses like with pedos. Once it is founded by CPS, the police, however they do their racket there, they need to have it out there. These parents have been abusive in the past.
At least the red flag on their case thing, whatever. So they can see how many times has this happened. Not the unfounded, but the proven founded.
The proven. All right, so this is when old Stepmeth got out of jail from her perjury charges. And it gets wild and it gets deep because she went on a bender. And the U.S. Marshals went and beat her ass.
Look at her acting like a celebrity coming out of there. That pisses me off.
Look at that. And I love how these criminals wear those rags on their faces.
Oh, yeah.
We know who you are.
About 30 minutes ago, when Kayla Montgomery was released on bail again, she had no comment for the media. There was no car waiting for her. She left on foot. She did wave at inmates who were banging on the windows as she left.
we'll have to see whether or not the evidence bears out those allegations. But right now, she's entered a plea of not guilty, and she stands by that plea.
This is file video of Kayla Montgomery's last court appearance on welfare fraud charges. She waived arraignment Monday and negotiated bail outside the courtroom on the latest perjury charges.
One of the conditions is do not commit a new crime, and the allegation is she committed a new crime in front of the grand jury.
The court complaint states Kayla lied twice when she testified to a grand jury in May, specific to when and where she was at work during the window of time that 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery was last seen and accounted for. Police reports from that time say Kayla told them she last saw Harmony while she was getting ready for work sometime after Thanksgiving 2019, and that Adam Montgomery told her he was taking Harmony to Massachusetts. Reports say Kayla claims she had not seen the child since that time.
She seems to be fine. I just spoke to her this morning. She seems fairly upbeat.
The new bail order also mandates that Kayla Montgomery have no contact with Adam Montgomery. He is incarcerated here at Valley Street Jail on weapons charges. Adam Montgomery had sole legal custody of Harmony at the time that she vanished. We are live in Manchester this evening. Amy Cavino, WMUR.
She was also supposed to go in person to the jail every day to submit a piss test, a drug test.
Yes.
Well, she decided not to do that. She was supposed to not have any communication with Teardrop. But as we know, she was going through Teardrop Sr., which would be Teardrop's dad, to have him get messages.
While she was incarcerated.
While she was incarcerated.
I can't believe they let her go. Nasty.
Now, this is a little tough to hear, but I'm going to turn on. Oh, it says closed captions unavailable. We'll go figure. We'll work through it, though. I'm going to mute myself so that way maybe it's a little more clear. But this is when she is talking to, at this time, her father-in-law.
4, date 2, 7, plus 0. My bad. Hey. Oh man. All right.
You got a pen?
Yep.
So it's 1, 3, 5, 2, 9.
Yep.
Marilyn Court. MARILYN.
Okay.
That's in Florida.
Okay.
34669.
All right. Yeah, what's crazy was, I don't know, did you get a Facebook message from this girl Whitney? Because what's so crazy, it's crazy that I got your letter and everything, because I saw that you put money on my account, and I was just saying to this girl, I was like, dude, I wonder if I could get a hold of him somehow or whatever, right? Because I didn't remember your number. It was in my phone, but I didn't remember it.
Did you get a Facebook message from this girl, Whitney? I saw that you put money on my account. I don't know about you guys, but if I have extra dough on me, it's not going to be to get beefaroni and Diet Sprite for step-nap.
He went through all them hoops to get money on their books.
Mm-hmm.
Where was Harmony's birthday money? Where was the contact? Freaking enablers.
Yep. And I will never understand that about adults. Why enable these people? Let the government take care of them.
Mm-hmm. He don't deserve beefaroni, neither does she.
No.
You hurt my grandchild, and I'm coming for blood.
And I know you would, even if it's from your own child.
Yeah. I don't care who it is. Kids can't fight back. They're helpless. Mm.
And then I was like, and I know he was in Florida, and I was like, dude, I need you, because this chick just got out on front court, and I was like, I need you to go on Facebook and look up my dad. And she was like, what's his name? And I was like, all right. And I told her, and she just sent it last night, sent you a Facebook message or whatever, asking for your number and your address so I could write you and call you. And then I got your letter today, and I was like, that's crazy.
I don't think she did.
All right.
Or she found it.
Oh, well, fine.
But even though she found like an old Facebook and not the one.
Right.
Because I have like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
At least 2 that I know of that are, when you punch my name up, still come up.
Yeah.
So
she has like a million.
Right, exactly like that. And and plus, I don't know, a lot of my, because I'm getting so many requests from people trying to
talk to you.
Say all this stupid online news people. And
I got a letter from WMUR from Amy Cavino asking for an interview. I got a letter from someone from where is it? Illinois or Indiana, something like that, asking me questions. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, leave me alone, dude.
Right.
And then like Thursday, I know these people are going to be standing out. Like, it's going to be on the news because I'm on the news every time. So I know, of course, it's on news. It's going to be, she's getting released. They're going to be outside the jail and everything. They were banging outside my window when I first got here. I was over on the windows on like Willow Street side, on the bottom floor on the top. They were making us like and everything was banging and everything. I was like, what the f, dude?
Really?
Yeah, they had to move me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you. I wrote you a letter, but I'm gonna mail it out tonight, and I'll send the pictures with it of the kid.
Yeah, and let me know if they need anything out there. If you guys,
Yeah, I'll
if you
send.
need something specific, something I can get for them, or I need something to help out. I know, I don't know how your mother's situation is, but just let me know if there's anything I could do.
Yeah, I know, like, dude, my uncle, I just found out that my Uncle Todd passed away 2 Fridays ago, and
I just found out that my uncle passed away 2 Fridays ago, and we're supposed to feel, no offense to Uncle Todd, but she wants sympathy for that, but she witnessed Harmony's murder and did nothing?
Yeah, exactly. And his grandpa didn't say, send me pictures of Harmony. No.
Because he
knows.
Yeah. Because he knows.
It's so damn disgusting.
my aunt, they was in Manchester, they was on 2nd Street, South Main Street, they was on South Main Street, like right down the house from Guilford, right down the street from Guilford Street. They was like right there, and he just passed away. He was a veteran and everything, but he was like overweight and had so many health issues, but he just passed away and got cremated and everything. And now my aunt's living at my grandma's house, because she was like, everything got shut off the day that he died, so she has like nothing right now. And they were coming down every weekend to help my mom and everything with the kids, but I'll let my mom know, to let me know if she needs anything or whatever. And I'll put her number in the letter so you have her number.
Okay. Yeah. If we could somehow stay in contact. Yeah. I tried reaching out to you regardless of whatever was going on. The guy at Henry Kevin not getting fucking along or whatever. Yeah. I kind of just leave them to the fucking to deal with their own shit. They're always fighting and always dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't bother getting involved. I mean, you guys were kind of closer than me and Adam were just because of the simple fact that I was gone for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
you guys have your own relationship. I just stay the out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And whatever. It's like I don't take sides. And my son, because he's my brother. Yeah. I love you both that out amongst yourself. Yeah, exactly. You know, so but because I tried reaching out to you and sent you a message, like I was getting blocked from everybody. Yeah, I know. Like we got rid of like so many Facebooks, and then Adam was freaking out. He was being crazy. That's why I had to leave. That's why I separated myself from him. He was being crazy. He was going I know. I talked to him a little bit. Yeah, I had to go. I couldn't do it. But I love him. I don't know. I still love him. I'm here for him. I miss him. I'm not going anywhere. Like, if you can let him know that, like, still here.
Now look at her attorney twiddling his thumbs. She said, let him know. Now she's not to have any communication with Teardrop, but she says, let him know I'm not going anywhere. I love him. I'm his ride or die. Well, we know that.
Makes me sick. Bitch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's so put out.
I'm not going anywhere. Let him know I'm his ride or die. Well, we know that because you were screwing like snakes under Harmony's dead body. Part of what she said in the probable cause affidavit, Kayla stated that after Harmony's body was in the refrigerator, Adam transferred Harmony's body from the Under Armour duffel bag into a new bag. Stepmeth stated that this happened in the bathroom. Stepmeth stated that on the day in question, Teardrop he was in there for 4 to 6 hours in the bathroom at 644 Union Street with the shower running. Kayla then described Adam as placing Harmony's dead body inside of what she described as a Catholic Medical Center maternity bag. This bag was much smaller than the Under Armour duffel bag, and it would not likely fit Harmony's body unless it was dismembered or grossly distorted.
God.
Kayla described an odor coming from the bathroom and saw steam coming from the bathroom when Adam would open the door.
Nasty. She's, ugh. They're both nasty. Ugh.
Nasty is right.
I just don't have words. I am so furious.
Well, after she was released for the perjury charges, and she was in there for a long time, and she still wasn't telling them anything, she decided not to go and squeeze out some piss for them. So they got the U.S. Marshals and they went and tracked her down. Now, some of these pictures we couldn't help but LOL at, right, Susan?
Oh, yeah. That's the only good thing that come out of this. We got to see her ass beat.
Look at her out there.
I shouldn't enjoy this so much, but I do.
Look at her coming out with her hands over her head. Yeah, they weren't too gentle with her because when she got to jail, she looked rode hard and hung up wet, but not in the way that Stepmeth likes.
I'd have gave her more. Nasty.
Yep. But the dude, it didn't take her too long to find someone a lot like Teardrop to shack up with.
Never does.
Nope. So he got in trouble for harboring a fugitive. And the dude that he was staying with, who I hear is his brother, hell, he had a marshal put a gun to his head. Look at this.
It's important to note here that Kayla Montgomery was out on bail on welfare fraud charges connected to applying for state benefits back in 2019 for her stepdaughter, Harmony Montgomery, when the child was no longer in her care. Part of those bail arrangements are that she appear in court when there's a hearing. She failed to do that last week. That prompted this new arrest warrant to be issued. The execution of that warrant very much came as a surprise to at least one other person in that house.
I had military machine rifles put to my head and told to face the ground.
Quite the start.
Hell yeah, that was a surprise. Old boy goes walking out of the store and get a pack of smokes. Next thing you know, he's got a bunch of grizzly marshals on his ass, throws him to the pavement, and has a gun to his head.
Good.
Bet you're going to start rethinking who gets to flop at your house from now on.
Another person in that house.
I had military machine rifles put to my head and told to face the ground.
Quite the start to the day for Dave St. Onge on Friday. He was stepping out of this house on Russell Street to go to the corner store.
They had U.S. Marshals, they had state police, Manchester PD.
Did they put a gun to your head?
Yeah.
U.S. Marshals, State Police, Manchester PD, and there's Captain Obvious. Did they put a gun to your head? He already told you once. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a wanted fugitive in your home. I got to see old boy again. We got to get him on the show. This is gold.
Russell Street to go to the corner store.
They had U.S. Marshals, they had state police, Manchester PD.
Did they put a gun to your head?
Yeah. And to my chest, not to my chest, but for me to where that camera guy is.
St. Onge says he knew a woman was visiting his brother for a few days, but didn't know who she was. After the house was searched and Kayla was arrested, they filled him in.
They kicked the door in on the other.
She wasn't volunteering nothing. Sure.
No. So she gets out. She goes and hangs out with his brother, decides to flop there for a few days. The marshals
got on that old pogo stick.
New pogo stick. Thank you.
Nasty.
She found her a new pogo stick. They push old boy down to the pavement, put a gun to his head, then they fill him in later. Now imagine when his bubby got out for harboring a fugitive. Imagine their conversation.
Oh, I'm sure.
They when they had me handcuffed over here, they came in and got through the top door and broke the door in where she was in.
St. Onge says they hauled his brother away in handcuffs as well.
And don't think when they broke down the door, they came back with a new door from the Home Depot.
No, that's not something they worry about.
Let's take a poll. Do you think Adam will ever tell where Harmony is? Because at this point, he can get out at the ripe old age of like around 60 years old.
He ain't saying nothing.
Nope.
Well, on Friday, telling him something about harboring a fugitive.
I think she's, she deserves everything coming to her.
And a new bail hearing is scheduled for Kayla Montgomery here at Superior Court tomorrow, 9 a.m. We're live in Manchester this noon. Amy Cavino, WMUR.
Oh, she showed up for sure. Yeah, Otis having a fit, and he's got food. He's got water. He's got his toys all over the living room. Does your cat do the same thing, Susan?
No, my cat doesn't cat. She's either laying up somewhere or she's outside. She doesn't play with toys. She can't be bothered.
Well, that's how this furry bastard will be as soon as the show's over. He won't have a damn thing to do with me. All right. Well, the timeline changed once the powers that be spoke to Stepmeth's mother. Because early in this case, they believed the last time she was seen was in October, November. It turned out after speaking with her mother, Stepmeth's mother, we've called her Grandmeth on here before, but I was corrected that she's actually a really good person, that she did not teardrop around, that she's raising the grandkids. Still I have question marks in my mind about her.
I do too. But I hope I don't even wish bad things on Kayla's kids because they're kids and they're innocent. And I pray that she does right by them and not enable them like she clearly enabled Kayla.
And that's one of the worst things we can do to adults is treat them like they're 11.
Yeah.
It's crippling. Particularly when other children are involved. They're the children, not the adults.
The adults don't need protecting. The kids do.
No.
And he has made her choices, and that's all I can say. I'm just asking you, just for the children's sake, I do pray for harmony, and I did have something come to me today for the police that I thought may help, which I did tell the police I'm not going to give that out yet because I don't want to hinder it in any way. Just please.
When did you see Harmony?
I knew it was in the wintertime. I wasn't exactly sure when. And when I spoke with my daughter, she was telling me it was a day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so she's saying that she saw Harmony the day after Thanksgiving. The probable cause affidavit says that Harmony was murdered on or about December 7th. Another jaw-dropping statement in the probable cause is that when Teardrop and Stepmeth went to stay with Stepmeth's mother, it's a lot of meths to keep up with, they put Harmony in a red igloo cooler.
Ugh. And she was in a common hall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that building a single home or is that a duplex or apartment building?
I was told that it's a duplex.
So a common hall for the household or the common hall for the building?
I'm going to assume for just the tenants that are in there. Like she leaves her apartment, they leave theirs, there's a hallway, and then that's the front door to get out.
So was it in that hallway or in the apartment?
Well, when they say common hallway, that's what I can't picture. And I was hoping somebody would help me. Okay, thank you, Mama B. She says there's 3 mailboxes, so I assume 3 apartments. Okay, so 3 apartments. I'm going to assume 1 upstairs, 2 downstairs. I don't know. So the common hallway is probably what she walked down to get to the door. Maybe. I don't know. Or is common hallway in their unit?
I don't know. Somebody would have opened that cooler if it was in the hallway for the building, I would think.
Well, and if it's in your and if it's in your own home, I mean, if I've got a cooler sitting in my living room or the hallway, I'm going to open it up to see what's in it.
Especially if there are kids in the house, you know they're curious and they're going to be opening it. How old were the kids at that point?
Little.
Roughly. Oh, okay. Well, maybe not then. But if they're crawling around the floor and pulling up on stuff, dear Lord.
Yeah. Because, I mean, one of the kids was toddling around. You know, I mean, I have a really hard time believing if it's in a common hallway that nobody opened it, particularly Christina, who is Stepmath's mother. It's her cooler.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she didn't open it, see Harmony, shut it, and say, get the hell out of here.
I'm thinking that's what happened, honestly, because it was quick.
Because she got him the hell out of there, and then somehow that cooler wound up in her bedroom closet.
Honest to God, I don't understand. How do you keep it? Maybe for leverage? I don't know. But then why clean it out if that's the case? Oh. Poor baby.
Annette said she probably did.
This is so
that
rough.
last year in 2020 or 2021? No, that was in 2019.
Did you ever ask your daughter where she was after that? That you never saw her again?
Well, she told me that because they came here the end of December during the holidays, and they were here briefly. I asked her, I'm like, well, I expected Harmony to do them, and they said no. And I know they've been kind of living on the streets and in a car kind of thing. And well, she didn't say no. She said she's with her mother.
Well, I have a lot of issues with this interview. For one, if you don't want to talk, shut the damn door. I don't expect her to spill her guts to the media because she said they were here for a little while. She doesn't mention the cooler.
No. She don't mention any Christmas presents for Harmony either.
No. And so think about that. Harmony's with her mother. You see, we have yet another person that could have ended this in 2019. Well, how do I get a hold of her mother? Because, well, this is December. This is mid-December. So, I mean, I've got Christmas shopping to do, and I'm going to send Harmony her gifts.
Mm-hmm. You don't buy for your grandchildren and leave the sibling out when she's back and forth. You know what I'm saying? You at least get coloring books and Crayolas, something for them, so they're not felt like they're left out.
Exactly. And at that age, you can go to the Dollar Tree, or now it's got 25 Tree, and get all kinds of stuff for them to open up.
Yeah, a stocking, something. It doesn't have to be much. At that age, they don't care, but they want to be remembered and felt like they're included. And this is just gross to me. I just don't get it.
What I can't get over is all of the people, adults, grown ass people that did not care about where Harmony was.
Yeah, it blows my mind. And I'm fumbling for words to put my feelings out there, and I'm just at a loss. I'm at a loss. How do I care more about this little baby than their own grandparents?
I know.
I
And I didn't question it because I didn't know until all the news, the history of the family. And Adam, for the first couple of years, was some sweet guy, and he's not. He is pure evil. He is pure evil.
He's some sweet guy, but he's not. He's pure evil. He's pure evil. He has a teardrop tattoo on his face.
That would be my first clue. If I know what that means, the judge tells me what that means.
Uh-oh, you're muffled again.
I said, if I know what that means, then the judge sure as hell should know what that means.
And Grandma here should know. We thought he was some sweet guy. I didn't know the family history. He's got a tattoo on his damn face.
Yeah.
So I hope I really, really hope the information that came to me today that can help in the search for Harmony. And that's really where my prayers are now, because my grandchildren will be with me, so I'm not going to be worried about them. And just please respect the privacy.
Yeah.
This is so scary for
Do you think
children.
Do you think Harmony's still alive?
I hope and pray she's still alive, but it's been 2 years.
I hope and pray she's still alive, but it's been 2 years, and my grandchildren are safe. See,
Yeah, her grandchildren.
When they have an attachment to their own flesh and blood, their own, and not all the other kids that are in their family, it's sad.
Exactly. Her children deserve privacy. Her grandchildren. But she had no shits to give about Harmony.
Mm-hmm. Lily said, where the heck were you for those 2 years? So
Amen, Lily.
Amen, Lily. So in those 2 years, well, where's Harmony? Okay, I understand that he took her down to Massachusetts to be with her mother, but you've got to see her sometime. I don't ever
visit. You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
OJ. She wasn't talking to you, OJ. So in 2 years, Lily is right. At some point, she should have been like, she talks to her daughter because she checks on her own grandchildren. I don't hear you guys talking about Harmony. What's Harmony doing? You have to see her sometime.
You would think.
So I don't know.
You got to be heartbroken over this.
I'm distraught. My body's been shaking every couple hours because I can't get away from it. You know what I mean? I can't not check the news. I want to know what's going on, and I have spoken to police several times.
Do you think your daughter had any involvement in her disappearance?
Kayla told me that, just as in her affidavit, and I drilled my daughter. Believe me, I asked. With her history, yeah, she used to be a liar, but I know how to get the truth out of my.
Sure you do. Sure you do, Dan.
She said, with her history, she used to be a liar. Well, was it a big eye-opener for Grandma when Kayla got put in the clink, got more charges on her? She was already in there for perjury. Not only does she lie to her, but she lied to a grand jury.
She knows how to get the truth out of her. Sure you did.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, the youngest daughter, her daughter wasn't born yet, and Harmony was with him. He dropped her off at work, and he said to her, I am bringing Harmony to her mother. And then he came back later, I don't know how many hours, I don't know that she was working at a Dunkin' Donuts. I've given all that information to the police, but Kayla said, where is he? She didn't say where she is, but I don't know. I'm so confused right now.
And when do you think that happened?
In my mind, from what I've tried to gather, and all the media has been great with trying to get all the information out there, and the social media I thought has been great too. But I think it happened like in a week. period.
What's it?
What happened? Yeah, exactly. What it?
What's the it that happened in a week period?
And that brings me back to the cooler. She had to know something.
Mm-hmm. And after the cooler incident, she knew that she did not see Harmony up until it hit the news she was missing. Now, she's going to have to testify at Teardrop's trial. I'm not going to be surprised if she hasn't signed a proffer as well.
Who, Grandma? Do you mean Grandma?
Yes.
Interesting. I want to see that witness list.
Because part of the timeline is them staying with her after the murder December 7th, on or about, allegedly.
Yeah.
Kayla said that Harmony's body was in the cooler at her house.
I can't imagine.
And I think it happened from December 6th till prior to December 6th. So December 6th, anytime after Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving is December 6th. So it's like, this is the 30th of the month, so it's like 6 to 7 days. So I think something happened in that week, and I don't know what day. I asked the police if they checked my daughter's records, because my children are brought up where they have to tell the truth and they have to fess up. And my daughter has broken every time for me in the past. And
well, she didn't break for you this time, because she even lied to the grand jury about something as simple as her work record. Something that simple.
Mm-hmm. And she's making excuses for her again.
And I said to her, and I said to her, and I said to her, I said, are you sure? I said, what couple doesn't communicate about this and so forth? And I know those are the questions out there. My daughter does have a good heart, but I don't know what her heart was on this, but I do believe her. She's staying very, very consistent in what she's saying. And I can tell by her, I'm her mom, I can tell.
So that whole drop off, you're saying that's between Thanksgiving, December 6th?
Day after Thanksgiving and before December 6th.
2019.
Now, hang on.
That didn't age well.
The day after Thanksgiving and December 6th. The murder was allegedly on December 7th. So this is a very peculiar date for me to say that she was dropped off then. She would only know this if stepmeth told her.
Yep. And maybe she did get the truth out of her, and she told her, get the hell out, I'll call the law.
Mm-hmm. Because something happened with that cooler. They put Harmony's body in that cooler when they were staying with her.
I can't imagine.
And she wasn't brought up to tell the truth, or she would not have watched the murder of Harmony Montgomery and then went and ate her breakfast sandwich, French toast sticks, hash browns, and her Sprite and climbed back in the car.
Exactly.
Who the hell could eat?
I don't know that they went inside. They may have eaten in the car.
That is.
They wouldn't have left that baby out in the car alone. Somebody would have seen her. These people are gross.
God.
And what's the significance of December 6th that makes that date stick in your head?
That date was reminded to me by my daughter because they were homeless and they needed a place to come. And I said, well, I don't really have a room, my landlord. So they were just here during the holiday.
Okay. So good for him. He said, what is significant about December 6th? So she goes through how they were homeless, they needed a place to stay, but the murder was allegedly on December 7th. See, for some reason, I'm not buying what she's trying to sell to this reporter.
Me either.
I'm not saying she had anything to do with Harmony's murder.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But you know, in this case, DCYF or whatever they call it, New Hampshire, is going to be on her like white on rice because they've got to have the same questions we have.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And what's this significant of December 6th that makes that date stick in your head?
That date was reminded to me by my daughter because they were homeless and they needed a place to come. And I said, well, I don't really have a room, my landlord. So they were just here during the holiday, during that time.
You said Adam is the devil. Why do you say that?
He can sweet talk and swindle like he did with us for the 2 years. And then everything he points the finger at everybody else and talks up quite the storm. And it's a lot of, he talks like jail talk. That's all.
What about abuse? The allegation yesterday was he was abusive towards Harmony.
I don't know about that because I didn't have much when
It is 40.
So then they cut it off right there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I would love to see the rest of that interview. I would love to see it, but he cut it off there. And he might have been told by the police, don't air that, but this part's fine. Because they wanted to shake down grandma too.
Yeah. Find out what she knew.
Well, she knew a lot because she gave him dates.
Yeah.
Fun, he said, it's like a different planet. I'm having a problem with understanding what makes sense with all of this. Can no one stand up for the children? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Adults don't need you. Kids do.
But they take up for the adults. I had a conversation like this with another creator last night. I kept getting muted and everything, so I couldn't get my point across. But I was like, what are you doing taking up for these scumbags that have abused children for umpteen years?
I don't get the mindset. I really don't.
I don't either. Like, I really do not get it. All right, now we get to, I'll do court TV on this one because they actually have really good coverage of the probable cause. So you hear grandma saying stepmeth was raised to tell the truth.
Sure she was.
She was raised that when she is squeezed, she has to fess up. Well, she finally did, but it was to save her own ass.
That's always the way it goes.
Yep. And out of the blue, out of nowhere, they unsealed the probable cause affidavit. Oh.
This part's difficult.
I have an entire copy of it if you want it. It's public record, but I can email it to you. There's no pictures or anything like that. But when it came out, it was like neck and neck with Gannon Stouts. What did you think?
Yeah. Absolutely. It made me sick. I had to take several breaks to get through it. I was vomiting. I don't understand how you can be so unfeeling. That's your baby. And then it made me realize why they were in the sewers. And That's where I got sick. It's hard.
What else did they take out of the Union Street apartment?
Floorboards, drywall, refrigerator.
All right, here we go. I saved this for the end in case anybody wants to get out and not hear this because it's a lot.
Trigger warning.
Released today in the death of Harmony Montgomery. This is a case we have been following for years here at Court TV, and I know a lot of our viewers have been as well. The affidavit in the murder case against her father, Adam, has just been unsealed, and it is offering some disturbing details, to say the least, about how this little girl died. The document states that investigators believe that Adam punched his daughter several times in the face or head. The 48-page document draws heavily on interviews with Adam Montgomery's estranged wife, Kayla Montgomery. She will be important to this case. And now we know a lot more about how investigators and prosecutors got to the point where they are now in filing these charges against Adam Montgomery. Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae is here, and it's a hard read.
It's an impossibly hard read. It's gruesome, it's disturbing, it's sick. Not only the things that allegedly happened to Harmony Montgomery at the point of her death, before, leading up to her death, but then even after her death, what happened to her body. And we know there's an abusive corpse allegation, a charge against her father. I want to take everyone to just this point in the affidavit. You mentioned 48 pages, but there's one turning point where investigators are getting a second round of information from Kayla Montgomery. She first didn't tell the truth. Then she explained what happened that day, December 7th of 2019, where she says they were living in their Chrysler Sebring. And them, Adam and Kayla, along with...
Okay, what was ticking off Teardrop? Now, mind you, when you're living in a car, you can't exactly walk down the hallway, open up the door, and go tinkle when you need to. So here's little Harmony who needs the key. She can't whip it out like Teardrop on the side of the road, okay? So she was having accidents. Kayla stated that on the day the Chrysler Sebring broke down, known to be December 7th, 2019. Teardrop struck Harmony, which caused her death. Kayla stated that while living in the vehicle together, Adam was extremely upset that 5-year-old Harmony was not saying when she needed to go to the bathroom and was having accidents in the car.
You're not going to tell me that she didn't tell him and then he slapped her, so she didn't know which side was up.
Exactly. See, when they're 5, as you guys remember, whether it's from, yourself, your own children, your grandchildren, they don't really feel it coming on. It's like when you got to go, you got to go.
Oh, this makes me angry.
C-Star said Harmony was scared to death of that freak, in my opinion. You think that's what I'm wondering too?
She absolutely was. Because if she's told him she had to go to the bathroom, hang on, wait. And then she goes potty in her pants because she can't hold it, she's beat.
Mm-hmm.
She can't win for losing.
Horrible.
With their children, including Harmony, and that Adam Montgomery was pretty upset with the 5-year-old because she wasn't telling them when she needed to go to the bathroom, and she was having accidents in the car. And at that point is when Kayla told police that he struck her to the point that it caused her death, that he struck her with his fist that was closed, and that this was to her head and her face, that she went unconscious. I mean, this was so difficult to hear, but this is our first time understanding the actual cause of death in this case. We've seen so much about it in terms of how long she was missing, 2 years before police were involved in searching for her. But now revealing what happened back in 2019, before the pandemic, before so many things closed down, which has been said to have exacerbated this period of time where Harmony Montgomery just slipped through the cracks. Here's some other things that I noticed in this affidavit that really stood out to me, that not only at this point, but that she suffered repeated blows on various occasions at the hands of Adam. One family member saw her with a black eye. And on December 7th, when that striking that caused her death, according to Kayla Montgomery, happened, that Adam told her, "I think I really hurt her this time." Adam, Kayla, and their children were living
This
time.
Yes.
Oh, that pisses me off. Oh.
See, and when you read it, you caught the "this time" in the probable cause.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Before we get back to it, I'm going to lighten the mood a little bit. Our friend
I wish
PJ,
you would.
yeah, let's lighten the mood a little bit because this is very grim. It's very dark. It's very hard to talk about. PJ's not so secret diary had a birthday yesterday. Let's take a second and tell our friend PJ happy birthday. And many more. I just adore PJ. She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
I caught her live yesterday. I didn't even know she was live, you know. Now I see what people are talking about. I didn't get a notification, so I jumped in there and I was like, "Oh, it's her damn birthday."
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We love birthdays around here, don't we, Susan?
Yes, we do.
We've actually celebrated yours twice this year.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Well, in the Facebook group, another Susan, I said happy birthday, and people were coming in here telling this Susan happy birthday. I'm like, now hang on. I had to sit there and think. I'm like, her birthday's in January because I remember the cup I sent her. And I'm like, well, hell, everyone's telling her happy birthday. Let's just go ahead and tell her happy birthday.
That was funny.
Roger said, Kayla Montgomery, also known as Queen of the Pogo Sticks. Boy, it didn't take her long.
No, it didn't.
And don't think when she gets out of the slammer, she's not going to find another dirt bag just like Teardrop.
Unfortunately, you're probably right. I just pray she doesn't go around her kids anymore. She has nothing to do with them.
I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
Okay?
I have a feeling she's never going to see them ever again. Because, I mean, when you have a probable cause affidavit that you watched the murder of a child and you have to testify for the state and admit that you did nothing to save her, doesn't seem like good stock to me, Sue.
No, but unfortunately, her mother seems enabling, so maybe she will.
Boy,
I hope not.
In that car out in the parking lot of a friend's home at the time of her death. And she also told police that it was at least 20 minutes that passed before she and Adam realized she wasn't breathing after that hit. They gave the child no medical attention at that time, and the affidavit says that Adam simply put Harmony's dead body into a bag and walked it back to the parking lot. Ted.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
No,
And then,
and she watched all.
Yeah, no emotion. Her kids were right there and saw everything.
Yep.
No emotion.
No
These
emotion.
people are monsters. I just can't.
As they're eating their breakfast in the car. Hey, Teardrop, pass me the ketchup for my hash rounds. You know I got an extra large.
I couldn't choke down anything.
How come Burger King didn't give me extra syrup with my French toast sticks? Gotta be kidding.
According to the affidavit, this, as you mentioned earlier, didn't stop in terms of the shuffling around of this poor little girl's remains.
For months. For months, they kept her body with them. And we've taken the photos from the affidavit and put it into a timeline of what investigators say was happening with her, how she was being transported, starting with December 7th of 2019, when she was stored in a black duffel bag in that car. And it said that Adam Montgomery would sometimes either have it in the car or put it out in the snow to keep it from decomposing. Then the family moved to Kayla Montgomery's mother's apartment. And that's where this red cooler was used to store the body out in the common area of the mother's apartment. So
All right, there's the cooler. It was there between December 8th and December 31st. Here's the thing. We heard her mother say December 6th sticks out in her mind. Again, I'm not saying that her mother has anything to do with it. Anything to do with it. But she specifically left out the 7th. The 7th is the day of the murder.
Yeah. Distancing herself, I'm sure. Yeah.
In a way, she reminds me of Candace Hare.
Yeah, I can see it. She knows some details, but she's kind of foggy on the exact times.
Bonafide said out in the common area.
Exactly.
Snow, who's suffering from an ear infection, which, by the way, that is debilitating to me. She said, I
Yes,
will look at a red cooler the same ever again. So there's the cooler that they had Harmony stuffed in.
Mother seemed to be unaware of what was in this cooler. Then they moved from there to a transition shelter. And the ceiling vent is where Kayla Montgomery told police is where they put the body. There were complaints from other people living there who said they smelled something weird. After about a month and a half, they moved from there.
Okay, let's
Can
go
you
back.
imagine? Oh my God.
All right, you see that vent? You see that vent there? That's where they stuffed her. The other people in the shelter smelled something weird. What they
She's laying under it having sex.
Yep.
No.
And underneath that vent where he stuffed Harmony, he knocked her up on the shelter bed.
How in the world can you be intimate with somebody you saw kill somebody? That, yeah, makes my skin crawl.
Bonnie's Journey says it's right that step meth isn't being charged with something. It's not sitting right with a lot of people, but they had to drop a lot of stuff to get her to talk because they don't have Harmony's body. And it seems that they're not going to find it.
Poor baby.
And the ceiling vent is where Kayla Montgomery told police is where they put the body. There were complaints from other people living there who said they smelled something weird. After about a month and a half, they moved from there to an apartment. In between that time, we don't have it on the timeline, but he was working at a pie company and he actually kept the body in a walk-in freezer there, according to the affidavit.
Can you imagine if you had eaten at that restaurant, how sick you would be?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The walk-in fridge at the pie company makes you never want to eat out ever again.
And nobody looked in that bag? Really? Oh.
And what's crazy is the only people, now I understand in the walk-in fridge, because those are really cold. Nobody would smell anything. But it's odd to me that the only people that had any sense were the people in the homeless shelter, not picking on homeless people, saying, we're smelling something weird around here. What is that smell? And so they
Yeah.
got the hell out of Dodge.
And I'm not buying that not smelling something, because that smell's going to permeate whatever it's in. I don't care if it's a refrigerator or not. It's going to smell.
Absolutely. Yeah.
David. Then they eventually moved the body to this apartment where they live. You see the bathroom there.
Okay, so they took the maternity bag, the CMC maternity bag, and they have it to scale. Now, again, I'm not trying to be grim or gruesome, but after he dismembered her in the bathroom with the shower running for 4 to 6 hours, he put her in this bag.
Oh. No. I'm losing adjectives. It's unthinkable to me how you can do that to a kid, especially your own.
Crime Story Diva said, why did they keep her little body with them? I've always wondered that myself. Of course, my first question is, why would you kill Harmony? But why did they tote her around from December 7th and for months after? Steve Beasley said the devil is real and it is so sad.
And then ultimately, they used this maternity bag and used it to move the body that was frozen in a refrigerator to Econo Lodge, a hotel. And Adam Montgomery, according to Kayla, rented a U-Haul and took the body, the remains, to an unknown location. She is unaware of where he went, and she said that she believed he purposefully didn't tell her so that if she was ever asked by police, she wouldn't be able to disclose.
Yeah, and now
the only
that
time
makes
I think she
her
told the
testimony
truth.
so incredibly.
Say that again, Susan.
I said, I think that's the only time she told the truth. He's not going to tell her where he ditched her because he don't want her to be able to come back on him.
And I do believe her because even Goofy Crystal said, she said, that sounds like him. He's so paranoid of being found out for the stuff he does that he'll keep it to himself because he'll go to hell with this secret.
I wish he was on the express bus.
He is. He just doesn't know. Because when he left in that U-Haul with those 2 other people and he was caught going over the Tobin Bridge, she wasn't with him.
No, she wasn't.
I want to make sure that if anybody asks you about Harmony, you don't know where she's at.
Nasty.
Important at trial. What about Kayla? Boy, she was a spectator during a lot of this.
Spectator, witness, she was there. She was helping. I mean, when I mentioned about them transporting the body to his job, she placed that bag with the body in between their other 2 young children in a stroller to transport it. I mean, who's going to look there?
Exactly. She's involved.
Absolutely, she's involved. She's up to her eyeballs in this. And one day, the children Her and Teardrop's children are going to read all this, and they're going to know that their sister's dead body was between them.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine the therapy that they're going to need.
Mm-mm. But now some people will say, Kayla's a victim.
Yeah, hell, oh, breathe.
Kayla's a victim.
A
Now,
willing accomplice.
the truth is, one of his charges, if you look at charge number 4, tampering with witnesses or informants for purposely attempting to induce or otherwise cause step meth to testify or inform falsely in Manchester between December 7th, 2019 and January 4th, 2022. And the thing is, when a criminal talks and they say, oh yeah, this is what happened, they don't just write it down and start throwing out charges.
No, they have to investigate and corroborate.
Even if they confess their own crime, they still have to investigate it. So everything
Absolutely.
she said has added up.
You notice she protected her kids.
Mm-hmm. And herself. That's the reason she held out for so long.
Yeah. And it's so sad to me.
But you see how connected she was to this, not just because of Adam, but very much a participant. We saw her there testifying against him in the weapons trial. Her testimony is very important, but you wonder how the jury is going to react to her likely getting a deal. But she said she was there every step of the way. Will the defense say that she did it and Adam did all of this to help her cover it up? Who knows? But take a listen to what she said during the weapons trial about the time in their life, especially where she worked at the time.
I was working up until November 2019 at Dunkin' Donuts. I would work 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Adam would be home with the kids while I'm at work, and he would drop me off and pick me up from work because I didn't have a license.
When you say we were using drugs, what do you mean?
Like getting high, using heroin and crack and weed.
Harmony, Declan, and Seamus, how did you support them?
We had food stamps, and my income, which was barely anything at the time. It was just chaos in that house at that time.
This affidavit.
I might be in the minority here, but I'm a big proponent for if you get social services, drug test them. I have to get drug tested for my job.
That's right. I agree with you 100%. If we're paying for your food, then by golly, you better have clean drug red. I just can't.
Mm-mm. My husband can get pulled in any time and have to do a drug test. They can do hair, they can do urine.
Mm-hmm.
We have victims at work, you know, because they don't want people, you know, slopping on the job.
I agree.
Slim said, I want a drug test if my taxes are paying for you. Now, obviously, if they have a medical marijuana card, then they're not going to test for that. But she's talking about a plethora of drugs.
Heroin, meth.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Heroin, meth. She's like, weed. We're not really concerned about weed, at least I'm not.
No, I'm not. Unless your kids are going hungry for you buying it.
Mm-hmm. Crack. And some people are like, well, you can't do that because then they're going to go steal food.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Food is their least of their worries.
Grammy said, Brooks, you aren't alone in that thinking. Yeah, I mean, enough's enough. And I'm not knocking on people that get food stamps at all. That's what it's there for. If you need it,
You
get
need help? Yeah. I don't have a problem with it.
We had food stamps and my income. She was working like 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
Come on.
It is making so much of that more real because the way that investigators were able to figure out that Kayla Montgomery wasn't telling them the truth in the beginning, she said, I was at Dunkin' Donuts. Adam Montgomery went to take Harmony back to her mother's and came back without her. That's all I know. They checked with Duncan and they confirmed that she had been fired by the time Harmony went missing. So when they knew that that was a lie, they brought her in again, and that's when they got all of this additional information.
Wow, and such specific information. Again, this trial coming up in the fall later this year, it's going to rely on Kayla, and boy, man, it's just heartbreaking. Julie Janae, thank you. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Marie Pereira. She's been with us all morning in New York and joining our conversation, state attorney in Palm Beach County, Florida, Dave Ehrenberg. Hello, welcome, Dave. Dave, to you first. We're talking about a deal for Kayla. You don't have a case without her, but boy, it's tough to stomach her not being held accountable, given her front row seat to this horrible, horrible set of events that lasted months.
Yeah, Ted, the jury's going to hate her, and rightly so. I mean, look, this was hard to watch, and to think that someone like that could do something to such a sweet, innocent young girl, I think that the jury is going to react negatively, but on the other hand, they're also going to react negatively to the defendant here. And so, yeah, the prosecutors don't have a choice. You've got to hold hands with the devil sometimes because that's your only option. So, yeah, they're stuck with this awful woman, but that's the only way they can get a conviction of the most guilty person of them all, the defendant in this.
I like this dude. You got to make a deal with the devil. You got to make a deal with the devil. You got to hold hands with this horrible woman. He's not calling her a victim.
I agree. I like him. He's calling it out for what it is.
This case.
Marie, your thoughts?
Person, not then and now. And I'm just shocked at the way that they treated this poor child. This was so preventable on so many levels, from social workers to family court to other adults who should have intervened, and they dropped the ball. This abuse was not a one-time thing. It was something that happened continually to this child. And I just don't understand how she went missing. No one said anything. Never mind Kayla, the drug addict, all right? We're talking about other people who had to know what was going on. How did this man even get custody of this child? How did family court give him custody over some other people who wanted to take the child? I just don't understand. Do they not do home checks to see where this man is putting the child? They were only in it just so that they can get money from social services. How did someone not make a field visit and see, okay, you want this child? Where are you going to put the child? Who's going to take care of the child? How did teachers not see bruises on her? How did social workers not intervene? Neighbors, 2 years she was missing. This is just heartbreaking. It infuriates me.
Well, you're not alone. Dave, the COVID excuse probably doesn't really fly just because of the extent, the length of time. This child did fall through the cracks.
She did, and there should be civil lawsuits and investigations on what happened. Marie is right. I really appreciate her passion on this. It's a shame that the government workers who were supposed to watch over kids like this didn't share the same concern as she did. But as prosecutors, you're left to pick up the pieces afterwards. And when we get involved, it's always too late. But at least you can do a measure of justice, and that is to hold both of these individuals accountable. The problem is you're really not going to be able to do justice against Kayla because she was involved, but without her, they've got very little case.
Yeah. Do you believe?
Look at her crying. She's crying, and I don't blame her. No. I've been there. Every adult failed her. And if it wasn't for Jameson, we'd still know nothing about her.
And I'm so tired of hearing a child fell through the cracks.
Yeah, too, the bridge was out.
You've got aunts, uncles, cousins. I know not every family is
Grandparents,
but the grandparents,
neighbors, friends.
Mhm.
Nobody spoke up. Nobody. And it pisses me off to no end.
Kayla's mother. Well, you guys haven't talked about Harmony lately. Where is she? Is she still with her mom? Because, I mean, I figured you would have her sometime and you would bring her to visit. Are you not going to have a birthday party for her? Well, what about Easter? We've had another Christmas now. What is she going to be for Halloween? They just didn't care.
Marie, the story that Kayla told?
I
can tell you're upset.
every single account of it. It's heartbreaking. And the fact that she left her own kids with this man while she allegedly went to work at Dunkin' Donuts, it speaks volumes concerning this person that, like Dave said, that we have to get in bed with, because but for her testimony, we would never know what happened to that little girl. It's just so disgusting. How did the system fail her like this?
Amen.
And you can feel her frustration.
Yep.
It is so disgusting. Now, she's talking about the system, but I think the system is the family, period.
The family first. And then the system, then the judge, and then everybody who knew anything. And it was left to Jameson. Poor little boy who just wanted his sister.
And I go back to what Mama Kay said. It was our second show about Harmony, and she said if it wasn't for Jameson yelling for Harmony, his adoptive fathers would have never reached out. He's the one that sounded the alarms. They had to light a fire under Crystal to get her to do something.
That's true. And I don't care how many times Crystal wants to play the hero and the victim, Jameson is the star in this show.
And Crystal's out of her damn mind if she thinks she's going to sue the Department of Human Services in Massachusetts or New Hampshire. Because let me tell you what, sister, you're not going to make it through discovery. They're going to eat your lunch. The only one that should be able to sue are the adoptive parents of Jameson and put it in a trust fund for him when he turns whatever age they decide.
I agree with you. It should go into a college fund or something. She has no rights. She makes me sick.
Makes me damn sick too. Rebecca said, rotten family. Ooh. Yeah.
I love you. She can sit at our table.
Annette said, yes, Crystal is majorly responsible for that opinion.
So sick of these people. Unless they see a payday, they don't want to say nothing.
Angel P said, if anyone harms my grandsons, y'all can visit me in jail. I got your bail.
Oh.
I'm sick of hearing that CPS has done something. Is it a perfect system? Not by far. The bureaucracy, the red tape, the people they have to keep up with. It starts between four walls, and that's the home that the children come from.
Exactly. Do they have a hand in this? You betcha.
You betcha.
They failed her first. And it angers me.
And just like everything else in life, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Guess who was squeaking for Harmony? Not a damn person.
Just Jameson. That's a sad day in America when a little boy has to sound the alarm.
Got that right. Marguerite said, how the feck can she sue when she was the first to fail her daughter, but now wants to make money from the poor child's death? I can't get the gravity of these people.
The gall, the unmitigated gall to try to collect on your murdered child because you didn't advocate for them.
Mm-hmm.
It infuriates me.
Well, my friend, I know your blood pressure is up in your ears.
And
I broke my promise. I said I'm going to try to keep it to an hour and a half because, like I said, I've been keeping everybody for a long time. But had to be done. There's a lot to go through, and we're going to keep talking about Harmony Montgomery. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on the YouTube streets, a lot of other interests and things like that. But the fact that you guys show up every day for the right reasons tells me what I already know. And Susan can tell you herself. We have the best friends.
Absolutely. We have the best community on YouTube. Yes, she is.
Extra said Harmony is worth it. Nobody was looking for her when she was alive. The least we can do is for her is to keep talking about her case. And there's many others that we have to discuss. Lily said best.
Unfortunately.
Crystal said best show here, hands down. Well, thank you. Thank you. Best mods. You have to agree. Best mods.
I love our group. I really do.
I do too. And without, everyone here, well, you can't have a group with just me and OJ now, can you?
I don't even think OJ wants to be part of the group.
No, he's been raising hell all morning. But you guys are the ones that make the channel. You guys are the ones that stomach the information that is hard to deal with. And advocate for the victims, not the pieces of shit that goad and gloat over the abuse of others.
Yes.
So let's keep doing it, my friends. I will see you back here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have some stuff to talk about over in Discord. So I'll see you guys over there. Tomorrow we're going to do a show with our friend Kat about Madalena Kojakari. It's another sad case. I believe she has truly been trafficked. So I'll see you guys back here at 9 a.m. Hit your reminder. I'll get it posted shortly.
Be safe out there and keep cool.
Keep cool.